Okay, today I'm going to show you some of the things that you can do in PowerPoint using some of the image editing tools that are available right in PowerPoint that maybe you weren't aware were there, that really make using images within PowerPoint a lot easier and allows you to be a lot more creative. First thing I want to show you is what I think is one of the more powerful editing features in PowerPoint, and that's the ability to remove the background of an image. So what I have here is a picture that I've gotten from FreePic, and it's 6 fish with a blue background. So what I'm going to want to do is I want to remove this background because I only want to use a couple of these fish isolated, and I don't want the blue background. So what I'm going to do is click on and select the image. I'm going to go up here to my picture tools and click Format, and down here on the left is a button called Remove Background. So when I click on that, what that's going to do is it's going to turn most of this picture purple, and wherever it's purple, that's where the transparency is going to be. So the only thing that's going to be visible in this case is this little guy here, this picture, this little fish picture here. So but let's say I don't want just him. Let's say I want another fish. So in this case, let's say I want this little guy here. So, well, I have a whole set of buttons up here that allow me to mark areas to remove or to keep, depending on what I want to mark as transparent and what I want to be visible. So in this case, I'm going to mark areas to keep, and I'm going to, since this is a pretty big chunk of color that I want to keep, I'm going to draw a line, and yay, I got lucky. PowerPoint figured out that I want these sort of pinkish colors by drawing this line and grabbing a big area of the part of the picture I want to keep. And so now all I have to do is click Keep Changes, and ta-da, suddenly I just have two fish and no blue background. And so this can be very useful if I have a color background on my slide, or a textured background, or another image that I want to put this on top of, and now I don't have that original background to get in the way. These are completely transparent, so they will lay on top of another image and you won't see their background. So that's very useful. But okay, let's say now I don't want to use them as they are right here, sort of diagonally to one another. Let's say I want to be able to move them around individually. Well, I can crop them out and then make them separate pictures so I can reconfigure them any way I want. So I'm going to go up here to my crop tool, and cropping just means that I'm going to select an area and anything outside of that area is going to be cut out. So in this case, I'm going to cut out this fish, so I'm going to isolate him. I guess I've decided he's a he. So I'm going to crop, and that makes the other fish disappear. So now I've got him by himself. But what if I wanted both of them individually? Well, what I need to do then is I need to make a copy of this one. So I'm going to do that by clicking Control D, and that just makes a duplicate, and now I can put sort of like a clone. I'm going to put him up here, and I'm going to go back to my crop button for my original version of my fish, and look, his partner showed up because he didn't really ever go away. So that's kind of a nice, when you want to separate things in a picture, that can be a really nice way to do it. So now I'm going to kind of repeat what I did before. I'm going to crop out my pink fish, and I'll duplicate him just so I have him all by himself, and then I'm going to get rid of my original. And now I've got my two fish, and they are separated, and I can move them around and orient them to one another any way I want. So let's say I want them to sort of look this way, like they're swimming away from one another. And maybe I want them to be grouped together and be a single picture that I can work with as a single piece. Well, that's really easy to do using a group feature. So if I drag across and select both of my pictures and then right click on one of them, I can group them together, and now that's a single picture. And I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller, I can move it wherever I want, and that gives me a lot of creativity in how I want to work with my pictures. And I can reverse that just by right-clicking again and choosing to ungroup, And now they're two separate pictures again, and I can move them wherever I want. So those are handy little tools to know PowerPoint can do. Particularly, let's say if you can't find a picture that you want to use that's not copyright protected, and maybe you see something you want to try to replicate, or you want to try to sort of imitate a picture that you have seen. Knowing that you have these editing capabilities within PowerPoint can make that a lot easier. Now, one last thing I want to show you. You may have noticed on my menu slides in this presentation that I have post-it notes that allow you to go from section to section. So I'm going to really quickly show you how I created those post-it notes. So the first thing I need to do is I need to create a shape. So I'm going to create a square that looks about the size of a post-it note. And now post-it notes are not usually blue, so I'm going to change the fill of my shape to, we'll use that kind of yellow. And I don't really want, notice I still have a line around it, a blue line. I don't really want that, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so now I have a yellow square, and okay, but still doesn't really look like a post-it note. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it as a picture because I need to have my picture tools. Right now all I have are shape tools to format with, so I'm just going to move that off to the side. Now I have my picture tools again, so I can use these. So in order to give it sort of a little depth and make it look like a real post-it note, I'm going to use these picture styles up here, and the one I'm going to use is actually this one, rotated white. And notice what it does is it gives a little page curl, a little shadow that gives the post-it note a little depth. Okay, now the problem is that it also puts this sort of white frame around it, and I don't want that. So I'm going to go up here to picture border, and I'm going to choose no outline, and that goes away. And now that's it. Now I have a little post-it note that has a little depth and kind of looks like it's laying on my slide, and I can now use that any way I want. So those are just a few of the tools that PowerPoint has for editing images, just built into the tool. So I hope this was useful to you, and that you find that you can create images on your own using PowerPoint. Thanks.